What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris Mann. I am here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. My name is Chris Drummond. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of upstate New York here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a very special guest that's on with me today. She happens to be FC Cincinnati Community Relations Manager. Her name is Emily Czyzewski. And we're going to talk to her about her why of getting into sports. We're also going to talk to her about her why of going to the Ohio State University, the reigning national champions of football. But we're also going to talk to her as well and get to know her a little bit as well outside of her occupation. So without any further ado, I introduce to y'all Emily. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi everyone. I am ecstatic to be here, but of course ecstatic to be with Chris and just being able to talk to him. So again, thank you, Chris, for having me on.
No, thank you for coming on. I think, like I said, you're absolutely lovely in a plethora of
Thank
ways,
you.
Emily. There's no question about that. And my first question to you is the same as it always is with everybody that hops on this thing, and that's pretty much, what is your why? Why do you
Yeah.
do what you do? Did you have any role models or any inspirations maybe growing up? But ultimately, what
Yeah.
is your why for getting into sports?
Yeah. So I have always believed that sports is an important vehicle for change.
Mhm.
And by change, I mean positive change.
Right,
Not a lot of people realize that, sports can really transform a life or
right,
lives in general. So that's really why I became a community relations coordinator because, I really believed and still firmly believe that sports is an amazing vehicle for change and that it can positively transform lives, no
mm,
matter what role you're in. I know, for me personally, I am a community relations coordinator, or I'm in community relations, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if you're in a different position that you can't instill positive change.
right.
So really, my why is, that firm belief that sports is an amazing vehicle for positive change in everyone's life.
I love that. Now, did you grow up playing sports? And if so, what sports did
Yeah,
you play?
I actually did. So I played a lot of sports. So
Mm.
I played tennis, basketball, volleyball, and of course soccer. But soccer was something that I kept on doing throughout my childhood because I absolutely loved it.
Mhm.
And you know, ironically enough, I loved it so much that I wanted to work in it. And it's amazing just to be able to work with the sport. Now, don't get me wrong. I still think, you can work in a sport that you haven't played,
Right.
but to work in a sport that you're really passionate about is just amazing. And I just feel immensely lucky to
Absolutely.
have that privilege.
Yeah, that's amazing. Amazing to hear. I love that. Now, what position did you play in soccer?
Yeah, so I actually was a goalkeeper. Now, a lot
Oh,
of people who know me, I'm really not that tall. I'm only 5 feet.
wow.
So yeah, it was just because of my height, a lot of people did not correlate that position with really
Mhm.
what it looked like. But you can still play a position in sport, no matter your physicality or what you look like. I mean, as a goalkeeper, I was still able to literally reach new heights and just jump as high as I can, dive, etc. I mean, even though I had that disadvantage of a very small height, I still did an awesome job, at least I think. So
Sure, sure.
to just to be able to kind of break the status quo, with that disadvantage was awesome. But
Mm.
goalkeeping is very underrated. I feel like in soccer a lot of people are afraid to try it, but if you haven't tried it, do it because it's very fun. I know, I get
Oh,
it,
yeah.
kicking the soccer ball is very fun. Um, but catching it too and punching it and throwing it is also very fun for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. This is my favorite
Yeah.
position in soccer, and I'm
Yeah.
not the hugest soccer player, but I love to play goalie. There's no question about that.
Yes,
Nothing gives
yes.
me more satisfaction than shutting somebody down, catching that ball, throwing it out to my teammates, and seeing them run down the field and kick that ball. Now, I have to say,
Yes.
Emily, I normally don't have a lot of guests that I tower over because I'm really not that tall myself. I'm only 6 feet,
Okay.
but I know me telling you that is like.
Yeah.
Really? Like, you say that.
No.
So I totally understand that.
Yeah, well, first of all, that's a great height, number 1.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of power in height as well, so I'm kinda
Sure.
jealous.
And that's cool, and you know what? It
Yeah,
your advantage is you're shorter to the ground, you don't have to
yeah,
bend down as much, your back probably doesn't hurt a whole lot. When I
no,
have to bend down, my back hurts, so,
yeah,
sometimes, depending on what we do. So,
yeah,
disadvantages, advantages with everything, right? It's just perspective,
true.
how you see it, so I love
Yeah,
that. Now, you went to the Ohio State University, as I mentioned in the intro. You got your
yeah,
undergrad. Now, you eventually ended up going to the University of Cincinnati to get your master's. I would like to
yes.
know, uh, what was I should say this.
Yeah.
Were there any schools that could have persuaded you from going to the Ohio State University or University of Cincinnati? And if so, what were those schools?
Yeah, so, I mean, to be frank, honestly, no. Just, being from Cincinnati, growing up in Ohio, those are, the best universities, at least in my opinion. And,
Right.
a lot of people in my circle believe that, those are the best universities, but also they are amazing just with the sports industry in general, not just because of connections, and their intercollegiate experiences, but just their knowledge,
Mm,
and the practicum that they put on their students is just
sure.
outstanding. And I know I'm very boastful or prideful of the universities, but they do amazing, and they're very, I mean, I know a lot of people love Ohio State, but I know they're still very underrated in the sport industry. I know, like, University of Florida and all these other universities are very relevant to those who want to go into the sport industry, but I really do feel like Ohio, specifically Ohio State University, and then UC is very underrated. And the staff, oh my gosh, the staff is just ultimately amazingly caring. And they are there for your success. And especially to be in a big school like Ohio State, for staff to be able to, connect with you and just to care about you,
Mhm.
it's astounding. So I guess, like I said, I'm just really prideful of the schools and being from the schools, and um you know just being part of their alumni base is just astounding. And of course I love sharing that, so I appreciate you bringing that up for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate you advocating your love for those schools.
yeah.
No question about it. It has to be very special for you to be able to work in your hometown state, and not just hometown state, but hometown city, right? Being a
Yeah.
representative of sports that you play, that you love, but also having a position where you have to interact with a lot of the people. Talk to
Yeah.
me about how special it is working in your hometown, because not many people, especially in the journalism realm, or people in a sense get a chance to work with their hometown coming right off the bat of graduating college, or because you've been there almost 4 years, and that's almost the same amount of time that you graduated Ohio State, which was in 21.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it's it's amazing. So, like, I know a lot of people grow up loving their hometown team. I know my situation was a little different because FC Cincinnati wasn't a team until 2015. So
Right.
about when I was like 16, but I was still able to follow them in my teenage years and up to my early 20s. So, um it's it's just absolutely amazing to work for a hometown team because you know that you have that boost of pride, and I feel like that really helps with your job and your passion, number one. And I mean, number two, of course, working in a location that you personally select, there are, obstacles and challenges
Sure.
because there's not exactly like a position open, when you want it, or you know, it's just it's that time factor. The timing is not really going to work in your favor necessarily with a hometown team.
Right.
Um, but it's still amazing because like I can actually say that I'm working for, a team that I essentially grew up with. And like I said, not a lot of people can say that.
No, not
And
at
it,
all.
and it took a lot of dedication and loyalty to, be able to do that. But, if you're passionate and you have time and, you are patient, it's definitely going to work out. So, um, just being part of FC Cincinnati and being part of their growth, but also seeing them grow as I was growing is just essentially amazing. And what's very special about FC Cincinnati is there are a lot of my coworkers my age who have also been through that process.
Sure.
Since FC Cincinnati, promotes within the organization, and a lot of hometown students have taken internships and been promoted. So just being able to boast about, the club and their growth, but, their culture and being able to be promoted, internally with interns from the city, and
Right.
giving them a chance, I think is just awesome.
I love that. Great answer,
Mm.
Emily. It really
Yeah.
is. And
Yeah.
off of that, I want to ask you some favorite questions. And you just give me
Yeah.
the 411 off the rip based
Yeah.
upon these favorite questions. Okay. So here we
Okay.
go. Let's rock out.
Yeah.
Favorite meal you like to cook?
Oh, that I like to cook. Ooh, fried chicken and mashed potatoes. I
Ooh.
will Yes, I just love chicken. But fried chicken, it's just really good. I can't really explain it. I know that's hard, but like it's just very good. And mashed potatoes, I love the texture. Of course, I love the taste. I love some butter or a lot of butter on it, but I just feel like it makes the perfect meal. And thankfully, I had it this past week because I would probably be starving right now just explaining it. But um I know unfortunately it's not that healthy, but sometimes you just really need some comfort food, and that is like the go-to for me.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
next time I'm in Cincinnati, I might have to hit you up, Emily, because I love me some fried chicken
Yes.
and mashed potatoes too. I do. I definitely do.
Yeah.
I have a good friend who is a sports writer for
Ooh,
the for the FC Cincinnati. Her name is Laurel Fowler. I don't know if you ever met her before. Uh,
yes.
so
Yeah.
you, so you have met her. Okay, got you.
Yes.
Yes. So she is a good friend of mine who is also on my podcast. So, and she
Oh,
tells me that I should definitely come out to a FC Cincinnati game. So I definitely will next time that I'm in
yes.
town for sure. No question about that.
Yes.
Um, yeah, it's funny how, like I said, all these circles, we just know each other like that. So that's amazing. I love that. Favorite concert, Emily, you've ever attended?
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so this is a little cliche, but I have been to a Taylor Swift concert. So, um, her Reputation tour was just astounding. I originally went to see Camila Cabello open for her, but I ended up just really liking what Taylor put out, and I actually saw the Reputation tour twice.
Wow.
So yeah, Taylor knows how to perform. So I mean, if you don't really like Taylor's music, I would still say go. She really knows how to put on a show, and for those who really haven't experienced a concert, that's got to be on your bucket list for sure.
I agree. I have not been to the Reputation tour, and no, I'm not a
Yeah.
Swiftie like yourself or others. But
Yeah.
I will say her 1989 album is probably one of my favorite albums of hers
Yeah.
all time. And Wildest Dreams is definitely one of my favorite songs. I mean, I can listen to that on repeat. It's just the music, the vibe. She's really, really talented.
Yeah.
So I can't fault you for saying that's your favorite
No.
concert for sure. No question.
Yeah.
Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Oh, this is also probably another cliche answer. But Walt Disney World. Um, I
Mm,
yeah, I know that's just a theme park and a lot of people it's very common, but Disney just does the theme park experience, I would say, in the best way that anyone can in the world. They really, immerse you in the theming. They add all of these crucial elements to your experience that and they may be little things, but they make the experience as a whole more amazing.
right,
And I myself, I am kind of a roller coaster enthusiast or a amusement park enthusiast, so just to be able to go there, experience the characters, the rides, the food, just everything. You're essentially in a whole new world. And any time that I could go back, I would. Unfortunately, it's a little expensive, but
right,
um, it's just. I always tell people like if you haven't gone, that is also something you have to put on your bucket list because just the theming is just incredible. You cannot get that anywhere else. And to have four theme parks all within one area,
right.
with all that action and entertainment, it's crazy. It's amazing. And that's also something I feel like, people really need to experience, even if you're not a Disney fan. Just because they do everything so well that I still think you're gonna have a great time no matter if you're a Disney fan. So, yeah.
I like that. I've never
Yeah.
been to Walt Disney World. And next year, in January, I'm gonna go to Podcast Fest, which is in Orlando, Florida. So I
Yes.
may have to check that out. I may have to do that at least
Yes.
for a day. See if I can get away from the conference and see if I can go do that. That'd be amazing. I want to ask you this because we're sports people.
Yes.
Favorite, and this is a two-part question, Emily.
Oh,
Favorite
okay.
sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person? They can be the
Oh.
same sport.
So I would say favorite sport to watch on TV, and I know you guys are getting the fever as well, but football. Um, I just think honestly watching it on TV is better just because I get a better view. Because as an example, I've been to Paycor Stadium and like I feel like I can't pay too close attention to where, the football's going and, really analyzing the play as much as I would like to. And I feel like
Right.
really TV kind of helps that. And I know this sounds weird, but I think you probably feel the same way. I really just like to concentrate on what's going on in the game.
I do.
And that's where like TV really helps me.
Hmm.
And especially because, unfortunately the NFL is getting a little more expensive than I would like. Which
Right.
of course
Right.
happens. That's where TV comes into play. So absolutely, TV for football, but in person, ice hockey. Um,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, I think like with a TV, I kind of feel like the puck is very small to kind of concentrate on, and I feel like I can just get a better view in person, but also just the in-person experience of hockey is just out of this world. I just love to see how, these players number one skate on ice because I think that is just amazing. Number
Yeah,
one, because
you and
that's
me both, because I can't
yeah,
skate.
yeah. I actually really love the chill of the arena.
Okay.
I hate heat. But just to see, these these shots in action, to see, like any fights or like a hit in action, I think it's just so much better in person to experience. And I'm very thankful that that season's coming up, because, I can essentially see the Cyclones or the Blue Jackets, but um, hockey, I just think is a sport you can really only see in person, because that's where you really get the best experience. But also because the puck is a little small, but
Right.
I just love being in the hockey arena for sure.
I love that. I do. I would
Yeah.
say mine is definitely football. I agree with you on TV.
Yeah.
football is definitely something that's worth watching on TV. I'm a huge NFL red zone person, so every Sunday I'm watching the red zone.
Yeah.
This is just amazing. Now, in person, I'm a huge basketball guy. I do love
Yeah.
basketball, and I've always been a huge basketball fan. So definitely love basketball, but also love hockey too. I had a chance to
Yeah.
go to school out in Atlanta, Georgia, Kennesaw State University, and I went to
Yeah.
a lot of Nashville Predator games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely had a fun time going out to Nashville and watching games at Bridgestone Arena.
Yeah.
One of my favorite places for sure. Last of the favorites. I'm a huge
Okay.
foodie, and I love different foods. I want to know, what is your favorite restaurant to eat out at there in Cincinnati?
Oh, so a lot of people are going to be shocked because it's not Skyline. Um,
Mm.
but unfortunately I'm just not a chili person. However, so I live near Mason, Ohio, which is a little bit north of Cincinnati, and there's this amazing pizza place called Two Cities. So
Mm.
they get the name Two Cities because they serve New York City style pizza and Chicago style. So
Oh,
essentially, I mean, I love Detroit style pizza, don't get me wrong, but one of the two best pizza styles are literally right in my backyard.
right.
And they do it so amazingly. And that, they're my favorite restaurant. They've taken a lot of awesome awards because of how well they do with their cuisine, but
Hmm.
also the ambiance of the restaurant. Like I'm not kidding you, their bathroom. It it's essentially a subway car. Like you go in and it looks like like a subway car. It is amazing. So they just do pizza really well, and unfortunately, I haven't been lately, but I'm really itching to get back. Because kind of like fried chicken, I've been craving pizza, and they just do it so awesomely, and I just love having those two styles right in my backyard.
I feel that. I do. And I'm a
Yeah,
huge pizza lover. I would definitely
yeah,
probably choose, if I had to choose one style, because I love both styles, but if I had to choose
yeah,
one, I'll definitely go Chicago. I'm a huge
yeah.
deep dish person. That's where I was born. So yeah, I'm a little biased on that. So yeah,
No,
definitely Chicago over there for sure. But
yeah,
again, when I do come back out there in Cincinnati, I'm definitely gonna have to go to the pizza place. And
yes,
hopefully you can join me. That'd be amazing
yeah,
too. So that'd be nice. I would
yeah.
love
I would
that.
love that. Yeah,
Um well, you did very good with that. But now I want to talk to you about your day-to-day
yeah,
operations, right? As a
right.
community relations coordinator, right?
Yep,
I know as a journalist, no 2 days are ever the same, especially as a freelancer. Like you definitely got to call around and see what kind of work or what kind of stories you can pitch. But when I was working full time at different publications, we had different stories every day, whether we was writing editorials, whether we was writing game previews or covering games, doing the sports department. I'm sure your job is a lot more than just talking to people at a game, right?
yep,
Every day you probably work Monday through Friday, and then there's
yeah,
games also on Saturdays and Sundays. I mean, the
yeah,
season's all over the place with games.
yeah,
But what is your role as a community relations coordinator? Because you also put on events for the
yeah.
community as
Yeah.
well, and that's even extra than what you do in the office or what you're doing at the game. So, talk to me about your role as a community relations coordinator with FC Cincinnati.
Yeah, so I oversee select programs of the FC Cincinnati Foundation, which the foundation is just that charitable arm, of FC Cincinnati. And just as an example, or I'll name the programs that I oversee. So I oversee our collaboration with Stay in the Game. Stay in the Game is a network that really helps schools fight
Okay.
chronic absenteeism because unfortunately sometimes students don't really show up to schools, and it can be very frequent. And of course, the FC Cincinnati Foundation and then the Stay in the Game Network, they want to make sure that, kids are staying in school and that they're
Hmm.
learning.
Right.
Because, that is immensely important for, development. So, being able to just work with Stay in the Game and work with schools within that network to help fight chronic absenteeism is just amazing. It just personally, I have relatives who teach. And chronic absenteeism is a, a problem, and just
Sure.
to be able to take part in helping solve that is just amazing to even say.
Right.
But
Right.
I with the foundation itself, hinting back to the events that you discussed,
Mhm.
I will assist with operating fundraising events. So next week we have a fundraising event called Served by the Pros, where it's essentially just a dinner party at TQL Stadium. We have the players from the first and our second team, because FCC has a second team called FCC 2 that plays
Right.
in MLS Next Pro.
Right.
They they will literally just serve food to people and play games with attendees, and it's so fun. I can't tell you how many times I just have had fun as a volunteer, because before this position, I was volunteering for a lot of the foundation events.
Right.
But to be able to kind of connect, players with their fans, but also raising money for a foundation that gives back to the Cincinnati community.
Right.
It's absolutely just astounding. So, there are a couple of other fundraising events that we do throughout the year. So, there's another called Ladies Lace Up, where essentially if women want to learn more about soccer, we invite them over to the training center, and they learn from coaches and other staff, the essentials to playing soccer, and of course they have some fun as well while eating and drinking, and um, just to be able to be a part of the planning and execution of these events, it's amazing. And of course, we raise a lot of funds from that to operate the foundation, which is also something, of course, that's awesome. But I will do a lot of the youth programs on the side of community relations
Wow.
for FC Cincinnati. Yeah, so
Okay.
as an example, I actually operate our youth memberships. So we have fan clubs for any of our youth fans. We have a kids club for kids aged 2 to 12,
Okay.
but we also have a teen club for any fans who are in that teenage from 13 to 17,
Wow.
because we really want our fans to engage with us, and to essentially run that, so that's events, any membership benefits. um it's amazing because a lot a lot of our youth fans have an immense passion, and I just love seeing that passion for FCC and being able to, make their day with any events or experiences. Like as an example, with a player autograph session or a Q&A panel. It's super amazing that, this is a moment. These are moments that we're creating for them that, will essentially last a lifetime for them. So just to make, kids happy, and to create those magical moments for them, is something I'm really happy to be a part of. Additionally, I will do so we have a new program called it's just called our preschool program, where
Okay.
we go to preschools to teach any preschool students about the game of soccer. Um, Soccer is, at least in my opinion, a very underrated sport, and
No
to be
question.
able,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just to be able to teach kids who may not know who soccer is, just teach them about soccer, and they essentially learn about the game through a board game itself. It's called Future Fans,
Okay.
and they also have other editions of the game, like in different sports, but just to be able to, teach my love of soccer to these preschoolers, and just to visit schools and make these kids, happy and have a good time
Hmm.
with this game and learning about soccer is just awesome. Because I'm a firm believer in learning through play is the best way to learn.
Mm.
So
Okay.
yeah, just growing the game of sport, but also having fun with it. amazing. But I'll also do a lot of our match day match day essentials. So as an example, I'll essentially just manage the department for any game days that we have.
Right.
We recruit giveaway volunteers for any giveaways that we do for a match. I will control our mascot schedules. So Gary the Lion, amazing mascot. I always have fun with him. So I'm able to just take in a request for him and then just lay out a schedule for him. I also run. We have what we call a fan stand in
Okay.
TQL Stadium. So
Right.
we want to engage with fans more, so we give away some items, we answer any questions, and it's really that service side where we're there for them to engage and see if we can help them with anything, but also make sure that they make a lasting memory for sure, whether
Sure.
it's the first
Oh,
game or
uh-oh. There we go.
yeah.
No, we're good. We're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Whether it's their first game or their 25th game. Um, just making those memories is immensely important for me. But also, so I will also manage any appearance requests for players or coaching staff.
Okay.
Um, so we want to make sure, of course, they're engaging with the community, and if the community requests them, I will make sure that if it's something we can do, we'll do it. So
Okay.
um, just a lot of things, but it's absolutely something I love, and it's amazingly fun to execute on a day-to-day basis.
I love that. Now, my
Yeah.
intriguing question next is, how does the off season vary from in season? Like as
Yeah.
far as your job goes, what kind of things do you do in the off season? Because I know the load is lessened,
Yeah.
but what's
Yeah.
different from what you do?
Yeah. So because with off season there are no matches per se, we still impact the community no matter what.
Right.
And like you hinted, it's less busy, but it's also less busy. I'm sorry, it's less busy from a match standpoint, but it's also less busy on a community standpoint because schools, they may be they may have a break,
Sure.
or
Sure.
that's where a lot of people vacation, essentially for the holidays. But that's actually where I feel like more of the magic can happen,
Okay.
because we have more time. Like as an example, we do like a shop like a pro event where we take kids to Dick's Sporting Goods. We give them money to shop around, whatever they want, see or need. We're
Right.
there for them, and some players shop with them, and um, we get more of a chance to actually, go out in the community
Right.
versus, staying in game, which is something I really love. And also, with off season, I love that planning aspect for the next season. A lot of people I feel like don't really think that way, but I I'm a huge planner.
You and me
I
both.
yeah,
Yes.
I plan my vacations, and not a lot of people like that, but just to do all the heavy work with that planning, I think is very underrated. And
Right.
um I think planning is a very crucial step,
Yep.
to really get either an event, an activation, etc., out of the air.
Right.
So that's where, like, I feel like the off season really tends to come into play and be important, is because, we want to make every season, or I'm sorry, next season or next year, the best it can be. So
Hmm.
to have that time and to really reflect on what we did in the past season and to plan for essentially a better future, um is just something I really love. And I understand, it can be a lot of downtime, but if you use it, in a correct manner, and you really use it
Hmm.
um to your advantage for planning, it can be essentially the best thing ever. But um essentially with the off season, just being able to go out, have more time, and actually, physically go out into the community, versus just, in stadium. And just being able to impact them more that way, especially in a very holiday heavy season,
Yeah,
um, I think is awesome. And I mean, a crucial difference between in season and off season.
sure.
But like I stated earlier, we're still making the impact and we're still making a large impact. There's just a difference in how we do it.
Right.
Um, I mean, we still make an impact no matter where we're at, but to actually be able to go to people, I think it's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No question about that. And it's a great segue to this next question, Emily, and that's
Yep.
about work life and work life balance and mental health. In
Yeah.
our sports field, definitely have dealt with it with different journalists. They've kind of left our industry, and because of mental health, right? Our mental health wasn't as strong as it needed to be. There's been people in sports that have had mental health battles, but also work life balance, right? We're talking
Yeah.
about a soccer season that typically starts in February and goes all the way to October, and you
Yeah.
guys being ranked second, pretty damn good in his MLS standings, only
Yeah.
behind Philadelphia, right? So
Yeah.
my thing is that you guys are pushing for a long run. So this is
Yeah.
probably going to pour into November. That's almost
Yep.
9 months of soccer, which is almost the entire year that you play, which means
Yeah.
you don't get much of a break at all. Because if I'm not mistaken, it ends in November. Then you have January where you have kind of like the meet and greet and the conference for the MSL. Like there's MSL conferences at that time, and meet and greet and stuff. And in February is when the season starts. So tell me, how do you keep your mental health strong, but also still have that work life balance? Because Emily, you seem like a wonderful woman to be around. I certainly wouldn't mind
Yeah.
being around you, but
Yeah.
you also seem very busy as well.
Yeah. So, of course, like that is something that I knew going to the sport industry is that the schedule is very heavy or very dense.
Right.
But if you love what you do, you also um, you kind of tend to like that workload sometimes. However, with I think with mental health and that work life balance, for me personally, it's also I feel like it's very dependent on the organizational culture.
Okay.
I'm very lucky with FC Cincinnati to where they value that work life balance and that mental health. So as an example, more specifically with mental health, they provide a subscription to Calm. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but
No, what's
um,
that?
it's kind of like it's essentially like a meditation app. So it'll lower any stress, anxiety through like music, essentially anything you could imagine to decrease stress and anxiety. That subscription is provided for from FC Cincinnati.
Okay.
Um, and going back to that culture, as an example, today we literally had a an all staff meeting today for about 2 hours where um, we actually got to connect with other people, in other departments within the club, and the company paid for pickleball. That
Wow.
we could just chill out, eat and drink, connect with our other associates, but also take that time to kind of exercise and play pickleball, even though I'm not the best. It was so refreshing, for them to, kind of mandate per se that relaxing time.
Right.
Um, because even though like people say, oh, it's a meeting, we're gonna do so, or we're only gonna work. No, I mean, FC Cincinnati really values, that time to really step out of the office and relax, but connect with other peers if you want and just really enjoy yourself.
Sure.
Especially in towards the end of the season where a lot of people are busy, and with me having the event next week, it was just such a refreshing moment to actually enjoy my time out of the office with peers,
Right.
to be able to get some exercise, and to really de-stress. But another thing with, culture, which is really important, when working for an organization is, your boss essentially. I have an amazing boss who actually forced me to go to this all staff meeting today.
Wow.
Yeah, because being busy with the event and everything, I'm like, no, I'm gonna skip. Like I gotta get work done. But she's like,
Right.
no, like
Right.
you need to go. Like, please go. To have an organization as a whole, but a boss who really cares about your mental health and that work life balance,
Right.
it just makes a world of difference. But if I didn't have that, I think it would be very hard for me personally, just because I'm very dedicated and I will always, want to work. And just having that support to make sure that, I have that work life balance and that, they're pushing me to take care of myself
Right.
and,
To be better.
yeah, it is super life changing. And like I said, I'm very grateful to have, of course, a boss that values that, but
Mhm.
an organization as a whole. And they're not the norm, but in a good way. But essentially, just if I didn't have that, it would just have to be, making sure that I'm taking care of myself and having that initiative, which can be very hard.
Absolutely.
As a Yeah, as a dedicated employee, but um, you know, y- y- sometimes you really do get exhausted and you have to, stand up for yourself in that. So, to be able to say, hey, like, I gotta take, a PTO day or something. If you're in an amazing culture or an amazing organization with amazing culture and you have an amazing boss, you know, that will your personal health and that work life balance, that will never be an obstacle. And I feel like a lot of sport organizations are, really valuing that work life balance and that mental health more than ever before.
Right.
So to say that I work in the sport industry, in this era is amazing. But of course I'd boast about FCC's culture, but I know a lot of other sport entities or organizations, will also follow suit.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Listen, boast
Yeah.
about your company, boast about your team. They're doing very
Yeah.
well in MLS.
Yeah.
Best of luck. Obviously, best of luck to y'all. But we'll push forward. I want to
Yeah.
know what kind of advice would you give someone that wants to be something similar to what you are? Maybe a community relations coordinator or just work for a
Yeah.
sports team in general. I'm sure you have interns with the team that works for the team. I know you guys just recently had out there. It wasn't your organization, but it was the Cincinnati Reds that held a sports career fair there
Yes.
real recently. So, talk to me about what kind of things would you say to individuals that's recent graduates that want to be in sports?
Yeah. So yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I just want to make sure you were okay. But
Oh yeah,
I would
thank
say
you.
work hard, but be patient. The so by work hard, of course, I mean give 110% into everything you do.
Right.
Um, whether it's a job, a volunteer opportunity, whatever. Um, People can immensely tell if you're a hard worker. And you can really catch people's eye, or eyes. I apologize, but when you're working hard,
Yeah.
and having an amazing work ethic really pays off. Within my career path, starting out as a a game day worker and a ball manager with FC Cincinnati, you know, being a hard worker at that level got me to where I am right now because people noticed that. And seeing that they wanted that on their team and they saw more potential. Um, so work hard, but also be patient. The sport industry is very competitive.
It
Um,
is.
and I mean, like you said, Chris, I mean, it's been about 4 years being with FC Cincinnati, but it's me being patient, and waiting for this opportunity paid off immensely.
Okay.
I feel happier than ever, happier than, any other jobs I've had in the past. And if this is really something that you love and you want to do, I promise you it pays to be patient, because it will come. I know, you know, the sport industry can be very, degrading sometimes because, you can apply for 1,000 jobs and get,
No.
denied by all of them.
Yes.
Um, but just being patient, letting time work out, letting yourself grow, get these experiences, but also, you know, really reflecting on your time and just being patient, it can really get you to what you want. Um,
Okay.
so work hard, be patient. That's my advice.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
It's great advice. Now,
Yeah.
I called the next question, Emily, called bucket list. And the reason why I call it bucket list is because I want you to give me a top four of events that you would like to do in your sporting career that you haven't done yet.
Yeah. That's tough.
And that's also I'm talking about
Yeah.
creating events for the community
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah.
not just events that the team is in, and so you can mix them up
Yeah.
if you want.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I'll have cliche answers, but number one, definitely Super Bowl. I mean, it's it's a world championship for a reason.
Yeah.
Um, and ticket prices are high for a reason. Um, it is, the teams that are competing are high caliber.
Hmm.
Literally a halftime show is always going to be a high caliber for that. But
Absolutely.
to be behind the scenes and just to make the magic happen, I think that is something that easily, which is something I want to do because, I mean, first of all, the Super Bowl, they probably need all the help they can get because it's a huge, huge thing.
It's a huge
Um,
event, no question.
yeah, yeah. So Super Bowl definitely number one.
Okay.
Hopefully number two can become a thing in 26, but a FIFA World Cup match would be awesome.
Oh
Um,
my.
I mean, that could be it really wouldn't matter to me. It could be like, a first round game, whatever. But to have, essentially the world's finest teams
Hmm.
just come to play all in one spot and, fight for the glory, I think is amazing.
That is amazing.
And like, I mean, I could do either, men's or women's, World Cup. Hopefully the women's World Cup will come soon. But I kind of got a little taste of some World Cup action, essentially when the Club World Cup came to TQL Stadium.
Okay.
Um, I actually helped with some security on the field, and
Really?
um, yeah, even though it's a stadium that I have worked at for over 3 years, like to have FIFA in your building, to have, as an example, Bayern Munich and BVB and other soccer teams just
Right. Absolutely.
come together and compete. It's just amazing. FIFA does some awesome stuff. In their the people in that organizations, they work very hard. They travel relentlessly, to make these events memorable for anyone who attends. So
Right.
um, to kind of be a part of a bigger stage like that is definitely number two.
Okay.
Um, number three, I would say. I mean, I did a little of this at Ohio State, but um, honestly, just to work an ice hockey match because I love it so much. I only worked a couple of men's ice hockey games at Ohio State, and I just thought it was pretty cool. Just to be kind of outside the rink, and to see Ohio State players face off, and to really, operate any fan contests, giveaways, etc., with an ice rink. A little challenging sometimes, because it's not like we can go onto the ice per se
Right.
and, you know, uh, shoot a t-shirt gun because honestly, I have never skated in my life and I would probably slip. Um,
Wow, you said you never
but
skated?
well, I'm sorry. I have ice skated, but like I'm not like a pro.
Oh, yeah, okay, I
But
understand that, okay. I
yeah,
feel that,
but
I
like
feel that.
yeah, I think with operations for an ice hockey game, I think it can be very different but very cool.
Yeah,
So that's definitely number 3. But number 4, honestly, I just want to throw on, an event for FC Cincinnati that, fundraises for the foundation, but also leaves a bigger impact than served by the pros. Because,
right,
that is my why. I want to make sure that, you know, sport is still used as a vehicle for positive change. And the FC Cincinnati Foundation is perfect for that. I mean, they have, as an example, we have a program called West End Pride where anyone within the West End area of Cincinnati, they can join our free recreational soccer program. So we provide the uniforms, the equipment, so that's cleats, shin guards, goalie gloves,
wow,
everything, ref fees, and literally whoever wants to play, they just got to show up. We provide everything for them. We provide
wow.
coaches, and that's a program I really like to highlight because you know, as a personal thing, just growing up, extracurricular activities, but most importantly, sports, were just so expensive, and they're only getting more expensive.
No question.
So
You're right about that.
to be able to instill that positive change through, that vehicle of soccer itself, um, the foundation has changed a lot of lives, and just to be a part of that and to make sure that the youth they're still developing physically and mentally. But most importantly, their families are not stressing about it.
Right.
No matter, what they go through on a day-to-day basis. Um, that just, you know, that just really resonates with me and, matches up with my why. And to be able to host an event that will transform lives, number one, but to also essentially be able to sorry about that, sorry.
You're
Just to
good.
be able to help, create or impact programs that actually instill change is really important.
Absolutely, it is. No question
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
And I love that. I do. Now, what is some advice, Emily, that you talked about advice you would give, but what is some
Yeah.
advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, being patient with myself. I am a high achiever. I have high expectations, but
Okay.
I think a lot of people experience just on a daily basis, but also within the sport industry, that you really have to be patient with yourself because you you are essentially you are in control of what you do, in how you react to things. And you're always sometimes unfortunately you're going to hit a low level, and you you really have to give yourself grace because if you're doing your best and
Mm.
you're trying your best, that's essentially all you can do.
That's it.
And I, unfortunately there are things in life that you can't control,
Yep.
but as long as you are being patient with yourself, like as an example, the job process within the sport industry,
Right.
you know, just give yourself grace because if you keep beating yourself up and knocking yourself down, you're not going to get any further. Um, so, you know, just being kind to yourself, being patient to yourself, is something that, I got advice from multiple people, and it has just really helped me to this day.
I love that. I love what you said. You gave some terrific
Yeah.
answers, but I want to touch upon that one before I get to this next
Yeah.
question, and that's because
Yeah.
that answer that you gave was absolutely brilliant. There's
Yeah.
no question about it. You have to. you are going to beat up on yourself and feel like that, man, I'm not making it. You're gonna be some type of you're gonna feel some type of way getting a bunch of no's. But in this
Yeah.
industry, those of us that's been in it for a few years, we know you're gonna get a whole lot more no's than you'll ever get yeses.
Yeah.
That's just how it operates and that's how it works. But that's in life in general.
Yeah.
You're gonna get more no's than yeses. But all you need is one yes. And the one
Yeah.
yes that you receive, you can be able to build off of that and be able to have success in whatever occupation or whatever genre or whatever lane that you plan on going into. But it's so hard for people to keep that optimism
Mhm.
because when you get a whole bunch of no's all the time, it deflates you. That's just
Yeah.
a natural feeling as well. So I'm happy that you did say that. You talked
Yeah.
about being patient and working hard. And, I always say that patience is the key to excellence.
Yep.
I have that saying written down all the time, as far as I write it down, but I also speak it to others, especially my students that I talk to in
Yeah.
class. Patience is the key to excellence. You don't have to
Yeah.
be the first one, just be the most accurate one. You don't
Yep.
have to always, you can wait. You can wait your time.
Yeah.
Everybody has a time that's meant for them. Sometimes it's
Yep.
your time, sometimes not your time. So I do love that metaphor that you said about that, and just being able to, understand that you will get no's,
Yep.
understand that you will have to, you know, continue to work hard through the no's because somebody eventually will give you a yes, and you have to
Yes.
show why that individual gave you that yes and validate that.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. I mean, and I really didn't learn that until this year, which was kind of a bummer. Because, if I knew that in the past, I feel like I would have been more well off. But, knowing that now I can take that into the future and become a
Sure.
better version of myself,
Sure.
no matter what comes my way.
Sure. Listen,
Yeah.
life experience is the best teacher. There is
Yes.
no manual for this, right? There's no ABCD steps that you can take and be able to figure this out. This thing
Yeah.
called life. You have to go through it, and I always say go through it by getting in the mud. So you got to
Yeah.
get it out the mud. I'm sure
Yeah.
you've heard that phrase before.
Yes.
And some people have to do that in a lot of different situations, but that's good. It's not a bad
Yeah.
thing. It's good to be able to do that because again, life experience is not a step by step manual. It's not something you can read and be like, "Oh, I got this figured out." Nope.
Yeah.
Everybody's journey is different, and one of the main
Exactly.
reasons why I do this podcast is because everybody's journey is different of how they got into media, sports, or whatever occupation that may be. It's
Yeah.
just an interesting story to tell. There's no question about that. And
Yeah.
um, I want to be able to ask you, and I'm going to close it out by asking you some playing my game called This or That. So it's an interactive game that I like to play with all my guests here on the Work Hard, Play
Yeah.
Harder podcast. And it's very simple. I'm going to throw some things at you, Emily, and you're going to
Okay.
choose this or that. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
Here we go. Favorite restaurant to eat at out of these two? Five Guys or Burger King?
Ooh. Burger King. I
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
I just really like their burgers. The flame grill,
Mm,
outstanding. Yeah,
okay. Okay, I'm with
yeah.
you on that. Now, when it comes to chicken wings, which flavor
Ooh,
would you rather have on the chicken wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
barbecue. I lemon pepper. I'm not really like a spicy sour girl. I
Mm-hmm.
I just like a subtle flavor. So I mean, in barbecue, I personally love barbecue itself, but of course the sauce is awesome. Gotta go with barbecue.
Okay. Now, do you
Yeah.
like your wings wet or dry?
Oh, wet for sure.
Mhm.
The messier the better.
Oh, I love that. Oh, okay. Now,
Yeah.
do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
Oh, bone in. I just think it tastes better. I know
Mm.
that's weird, but I really do think there's a difference in flavor for sure. And of
Oh,
course, bone in.
oh,
A lot better.
girl, Emily, you about to make
Yeah.
me blush. You know how hard that is for a man of my pigmentation. You know how hard that is. Okay, I like that though. We're starting off on a really good foot. Let's
Yeah.
see if we can
Yeah.
keep this thing going. The next five questions are about music concerts that you rather attend. So here we go.
Ooh,
Which music concert would you rather go see? Drake or Kendrick Lamar?
ooh, Kendrick. I think he has a really good rap game. And I love a lot of his
Mm.
songs. So Kendrick is the real one for sure.
Absolutely. He was phenomenal
Yeah.
at the Super Bowl. I had a chance to cover the Super Bowl last year in
Yeah.
February. That was absolutely amazing. Being on that field, being in New Orleans, that was just a time of my life. No question about it. So it was amazing
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. Okay. Which music concert would you rather go see? Beyonce or Rihanna?
Ooh, Queen Bee. I really think
Ooh.
like like Taylor Swift. She's just an awesome performer, and I mean, I would even love to go to one of her concerts. And her songs are amazing. Her vocal range is amazing. So Queen Bee for sure.
Okay, I like that. Now,
Yeah.
they're only going to get tougher, Emily. So here we go.
Yeah.
Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Morgan Wallen or Taylor Swift?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got to go with Taylor Swift. I just, I still abide by, she's a great performer. And,
Hmm.
her Reputation tour, seen it twice, changed my life. Just the way she performs, and, how she creates those moments is really important and was very important to me as well.
Okay, all right, here we go. Now, which music concert out of these next two artists would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Ariana Grande or Pink?
Ooh, Ariana. And I promise you it's not just because of the Wicked hype. I actually, I've actually seen her in concert and her vocal range is just amazing. How she can sing live. I mean, you essentially feel like you're in the recording studio with her. I
Hmm.
mean, it is just her voice is so beautiful, and but of course I love her pop songs, and um even though I do like a little bit of that pop rock from Pink, I just think Ariana is astounding to see live.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got a chance to see the first Wicked for sure. We'll
Yeah.
definitely see the second Wicked. I believe it's coming out in November. So I'm definitely
Yes.
going to check that out for sure because I'm a huge musical buff. No question about that.
Yes.
So yes, that's what's up. I love it. Now, last of the music. Which
Yeah.
music concert would you rather go see? Post Malone or Jelly Roll?
Ooh. Post Malone. I think, well, number one, he's a very down to earth guy, but I mean, ever since he started, in the hip hop and rap category, I was a teenager and I, you know, I, I guess I want to say I grew up on that, grew up listening to that and,
Sure. Sure.
to see how he's evolved, through different, genres, but also to see him live, I think amazing.
Oh, no question. He is
Yeah.
definitely amazing live. I had a chance to see him twice live. So he's definitely amazing. I believe one of my favorite albums is the Hollywood Bleeding album of his. I don't have any skips on that album. It was just absolutely amazing from top to bottom for
Yes.
sure. No question. Now, back to the sports. Which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Ooh, badminton. Just because I honestly suck at bowling. My wrist, like, it sometimes just can't hold the weight of the bowling ball. And
Wow.
like, I would just prefer to have a racket in my hand, and the I think they call it a birdie. Um,
They do.
that thing is just amazing to hit. Like, just
Okay.
get your anger out, just hitting that hard, amazing. So
Okay.
badminton for sure.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
Now, which
yeah,
sport would you rather watch on TV?
yeah.
Basketball or baseball?
Ooh, basketball. Um,
Mm.
I just think basketball can be really thrilling. And as you probably know too, like you never know. I mean, I think it's easy for sometimes a team to get a comeback, and um, you know, possessions can change easily.
Sure, sure.
Versus baseball and um, March Madness is just thrilling itself.
Hmm.
I'm more of a college basketball girl, so just being able to watch basketball, but more on that college side,
Mhm.
It's very thrilling, and it can get exciting very quickly.
I can imagine. I mean, obviously, the
Yeah,
first four starts out there all the time in Dayton, Ohio. I'm not sure how far away you are from that, but obviously they have the Bearcats up there in
yeah,
Cincinnati at UC, and obviously with the Buckeyes being Ohio State.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, how far is Dayton, Ohio from you?
It's about 45 minutes, but it's always worth making a trip over. The food is amazing. The
Mm.
University of Dayton is amazing because I have been to a first four match over at UD Arena. And Dayton is amazing. And even though it is a little far, it's still worth a trip for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe I'll be covering the first and second round of the next college basketball because it's here in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to try to cover that up here at the KeyBank Center, home of the Sabres, where they play. So I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to that for sure, no question. I want to ask you, do you like desserts?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so here we
Absolutely.
go. I'm going to name four categories of desserts. You have to choose one of these categories to eliminate that you'll never eat again. Okay, so here we
Ooh.
go. The first category is grouped together, is cake
Yeah.
slash pies. Okay,
Okay.
the next one is going to be ice cream. The
Ooh.
next one is going to be cookies.
Okay.
The last one is going to be candy. Which
Ooh.
one are you getting rid of?
Ooh. I would say cakes, pies. I'm not. I'm
Okay,
not really a cake pie person. I.
okay. Hmm.
So yeah. Sorry, that one's out.
Okay, so what's your favorite ice cream?
Oh, chocolate. And I know that's very normal, but
Mm.
like sometimes I think. I mean, of course, it's not a vanilla, but still having flavor, but being simple. Is I still think it's still amazing.
Well, listen, we are like opposites attract here because you are
Yeah.
chocolate and
Yeah.
obviously Caucasian. I am African American, and I would say
Yeah.
vanilla is my favorite
Ah.
for sure. No
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
So that's I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you like potato chips?
I do.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'm gonna ask you, it's the same format. I'm gonna throw four
Yeah.
brands at you, and you have to choose one of these brands that you'll eliminate and never eat
Okay.
again. So here we go. The first brand is Doritos. The second brand is Pringles. The
Ooh.
third brand is Lay's. The last brand is Ruffles. Which one are you getting rid
Oh.
of?
So I'm gonna get rid of Ruffles just because
Oh hell no. No, you did
I
not,
know.
Emily. Oh no, Lord. Okay, go ahead.
I the I know. I just Pringles are too good. Their flavors are too good. But
Okay.
so are Doritos.
Okay.
And Lay's, I love Lay's because they have like these poppables type chips.
Mm.
Um, they're less calories than like a normal potato chip, but literally the taste versus a regular potato chip,
Hmm.
amazing.
Okay,
Um,
so let me ask
yeah,
you. Out of these, you don't have to choose the other three.
yeah, yeah.
But what is your favorite potato chip?
Ooh. I would say anything barbecue. Um,
Okay. Okay. You
yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a very popular flavor, but there could be variations. So, like, they could do like a smokehouse barbecue or
Mhm.
like a Kansas City barbecue on a potato chip, and really, whatever variation you put it in on a potato chip for me, I'm gonna love instantly.
I like that. I do.
Yeah,
Now, obviously, you did very well on this or that. There's no question about that. You did
yeah,
very well, except obviously on the Ruffles. I don't know how the hell you got rid of Ruffles, but that's okay. I don't hold that against you. The greatest chip ever made is barbecue,
yeah.
Ruffles, barbecue and cheddar Ruffle chips. Those are the
Okay.
greatest chips ever made, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like I said, there's many wonderful things about you, Emily, but it just proves that
yeah,
you're not perfect. That's all that proves. So it's okay. It's totally fine. Um, but what I want to say is this has been a
yeah,
very enlightening conversation, and
yeah.
obviously this has been tremendously amazing. Learn about your background of what you do at FC Cincinnati, what you do as far as your lifestyle, how you live, the schools you went to, and going to UC getting your master's, which is great because I too have my master's. We have that in common.
Nice.
And
Nice.
then you going to the Ohio State University, that's amazing. All the things that you're doing out in the community with the different events. You working extremely hard out there. There's no question about that. But you
Yeah.
love what you do. So
Yeah.
I was always told if you love what you do, you never call it work. So
Exactly.
my thing is that I want to be able to say thank you for hopping on my
Yeah.
podcast this evening, talking about your why and getting to know you a little bit. Obviously, I will be tuning into the MSL playoffs because that's exactly where your team is going. FC
Yes.
Cincinnati, as you guys close out the regular season at home this upcoming Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, and then you guys got a road game a couple weeks after that to close out the season for real against Montreal, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
I want to say thank you again. And my
Yeah. Thank
final
you.
question to you is there anything else you would like to add about yourself, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
Honestly, I would just, say, you know, to anyone who, wants to work in sports, just keep at it, keep living your dream, keep learning, keep experiencing things. And I promise you, as long as you work hard and be patient, you will make it.
I love that. That is the
Yeah.
mic drop. Emily, I want you to enjoy your
Thank
rest of your
you.
Thursday evening. You and I will
Yeah.
most certainly be in touch.
Yes.
And thank you for again coming on my podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.